buddy road trip, we need to find a cure for cancer movie. It stars maybe someone you heard of, Woody Harrelson. You like Cheers? You like Ed TV? Natural Born Killers? This is it. We got to talk about this movie, my AKAPADers, just because it's important in the arc of one of the great filmmakers. Michael Cimino, in my eyes, is a top-tier talent. What happened to him is of Hollywood tragedy. We're not going to really gloss over that other than a few notes, but I do want to discuss this movie with you because it's worthy of discussion, and that's exactly what we do here on the AKAPAD Film Buff Podcast. So join me. Let's talk.
Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take 1.
Action!
Recently, I was having a discussion with someone about Rainn Wilson, a.k.a. Dwight from The Office. I forget what podcast Rainn Wilson was on. It might have been even his own, if he has one. I want to say maybe it was Chris Jericho. Maybe he was talking with Chris Jericho. Back when Chris Jericho had a banger show. Talk is Jericho. But don't hold me to it. I just recall Rainn Wilson explaining his plight to wanting to be an actor and then being typecast. There's no one he can talk to that's not going to call him Dwight. John Krasinski, Jim, his counterpart on that show, had to get behind the camera to forward his Hollywood career. But Dwight from The Office just wants to play characters. He just wants to act. Let the boy act. When we look at Woody Harrelson, who played a dim-witted Southern boy, barback, bartender, second to Sammy Malone, second to Coach, on Cheers, and we look at his filmography, we really look at what happened to Woody Harrelson's film career, knowing he came from the same place that Dwight Rainn Wilson is complaining from. I'm not saying it's not without merit. It just encapsulates how extraordinary of a career Woody Harrelson has had. A road trip movie with Woody Harrelson, shot by Michael Cimino, and you can tell this movie is beautiful. There are so many scenic shots that are postcard worthy. If this is your pitch, and we pull it into the popular culture, the gang wars, LA, a lot of these things people were first learning about in the late 90s. We're going to have a modest budget. It's going to be a road trip. And it's going to have a spiritual kick. There's going to be a lot of spirituality in this. There's going to be youth. There's going to be a little bit of The Odd Couple. A little bit of 48 Hours. This is going to be a road trip movie that delves into Native American lore. And it's going to spin your effing mind. And that's exactly what this movie does. Maurice Jarre, this is our music. The worst part of this movie is the music. The music doesn't fit at all, ever. We have one amazing title sequence. Fluorescent greens, fluorescent pinks. We think we're into something fast-moving, modern. Dare I say, MTV edited. But what we get is a complex character study where we're looking for a mountain with a shaman at the top of it. And within that mountain, there's a lake that can heal you, and you're dying of cancer. You're a little bit of a victim of circumstance. Woody Harrelson, he's almost straight out of Fight Club. He's a victim of circumstance, victim of maybe a life that he doesn't want that's spiraling out of control. There's a moment where this movie's building to the end, and Woody Harrelson and his kidnapper, essentially, John Seda, they have to part ways. One's going into the great beyond, and at this point, you're convinced it's going to work. This is going to happen. What this kid read in this book that he's pursuing, it's there. It's right here in front of us, and we're all going to witness it. They part ways, but we get the speech, and the speech is there. Woody Harrelson is bloodied, bruised, dirty. I quote him from this movie: "I have sand everywhere for the last 3 days. I haven't changed my underwear for 3 days." We get all that stuff. There's a great sequence where they're in the car making their way to this mountain, and it's Native Americans on horses. There's parts of this movie that lean into dream and lean out. This movie ends the way it should end. Woody Harrelson comes full circle and finds himself, becomes more connected to the earth. But it's rough. This movie was nominated for a Palme d'Or at the 49th Cannes Film Festival, by the way. What's missing from this movie? Was this movie overshot? Is there just more sitting on the cutting room floor? Is this the movie that was intended? What happened with the music? We get some odd B-roll with, there's some helicopter shots that are just, and they take you out. But we're told a story here. Characters that are corrupt, that are broken. One's violent, one's not. And we've seen this movie before. It's all played out. But I think this movie has so much merit. I think it's a good stack in the Michael Cimino filmography. Technically, it's his second to last movie that he's credited for. But we can really call this his last movie. 94, Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. Great movie. 1978, Deer Hunter, the Academy Award winner, one of the greatest movies of all time. 1980, Heaven's Gate, effectively killing his film career. Then we get Year of the Dragon, the movie that Quentin Tarantino, also written by Oliver Stone, by the way. Year of the Dragon. Quentin Tarantino hates the ending of that movie. I agree with him, but that's a great movie up until that point. The Sicilian, oh my God, underrated, overlooked, memory hold, deserves your attention. Desperate Hours, similar situation. It's there. And Sunchaser. And we want to say everything from Heaven's Gate to Sunchaser. We're talking 5 movies. And making movies is a hard business, guys. People wanted Deer Hunter. They just wanted the vast dramatic range. The true dramatic range of Deer Hunter. They wanted that in every single one of this guy's movies. They got it in Heaven's Gate. But the world was just smoking crack at the time. I don't know. I kind of want to visit Year of the Dragon, revisit that. I want to revisit The Sicilian. I want to revisit Desperate Hours. Sunchaser is a movie of study. You have to see this movie if you're interested in the career of Michael Cimino, one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. You can make one great movie and be one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. You do realize that. Deer Hunter, Heaven's Gate, The Sicilian. That's a good trilogy just from someone's filmography right there. All right, AKAPADers, I gotta recommend this movie. I think Woody Harrelson's fantastic in it. I think John Seda is fantastic in this. I think this movie has some amazing cinematography, some amazing shots. It's choppy. But it's memorable, and that's the point, isn't it? All right, AKAPADers. Woody Harrelson starring in Sunchaser. Let's go.
Okay, that's a wrap.